And he heard the words of Laban's son, saying, Jacob has taken all that belonged to our father. And for what belonged to our father, he has amassed this entire fortune. Jacob saw Laban's countenance, that he was not disposed toward him as he had been yesterday and the day before. And the Lord said to Jacob, Return to the land of your forefathers, to your birthplace, and I will be with you. So Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field to his flocks. He said to them, I see your father's countenance, that he is not disposed toward me as he was yesterday and the day before, but the God of my father was with me. And you know that with all my might I served your father. But your father mocked me and changed my wages 10 times, but God did not permit him to harm me. If you would say thus, speckled ones shall be your wages, all the animals would bear speckled ones. And if you would say thus, ringed ones shall be your wages, all the animals would bear ringed ones. Thus God separated your father's livestock and gave it to me. And it came to pass at the time the animals came into heat, that I lifted my eyes and saw in a dream, and behold, the he-goats that mounted the animals were ringed, speckled, and striped. And an angel of God said to me in a dream, Jacob, and I said, Here I am. And he said, Now lift your eyes and see that all the he-goats mounting the animals are ringed, speckled, and striped, for I have seen all that Laban is doing to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed a monument, where you pronounced to me a vow. Now arise, go forth from this land, and return to the land of your birth. Rachel and Leah replied and said to him, Do we still have a share or an inheritance in our father's house? Are we not considered by him as strangers? For he sold us and also consumed our money. But all the wealth that God separated from our fathers is ours, and our children. So now, all that God said to you, do. So Jacob rose, and he lifted up his sons and his wives upon the camels. And he led all his livestock and all his possessions that he had acquired, the purchase of his acquisition which he had acquired in Padan Aram, to come to Isaac his father to the land of Canaan. Now Laban had gone to shear his sheep. Meanwhile Rachel stole her father's teraphim. And Jacob concealed from Laban the Aramean by not telling him that he was fleeing. So he and all that were his fled. And he arose and crossed the river, and he directed his face toward Mount Gilead. On the third day Laban was informed that Jacob had fled. So he took his kinsmen with him, and he pursued him 7 days' journey, and he overtook him at Mount Gilead. And God came to Laban the Aramean in a dream of the night. He said to him, Beware lest you speak with Jacob, either good or evil. And Laban overtook Jacob, and Jacob pitched his tent on the mountain. Laban pitched with his kinsmen on Mount Gilead. Laban said to Jacob, What have you done that you concealed from me and led away my daughters like prisoners of war? Why have you fled secretly and concealed from me and not told me? I would have sent you away with joy and with songs, and with drum and with harp. You did not allow me to kiss my sons and my daughters. Now you have acted foolishly. I have the power to inflict harm upon you, but the God of your fathers spoke to me last night, saying, Beware of speaking with Jacob, either good or bad. But now you have gone away, for you longed for your father's house. But why have you stolen my goods, my gods? And Jacob replied, and he said to Laban, Because I was afraid, because I said, Lest you steal your daughters from me. The one with whom you find your God shall not live in the presence of our brothers. Recognize for yourself what is with me, and take it for yourself, for Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen them. So Laban entered Jacob's tent, and Leah's tent, and the tents of the 2 handmaids, but he did not find them, and he had come out of Leah's tent and entered Rachel's tent. For Rachel had taken the teraphim and placed them into the camel saddle and sat upon them. So Laban felt about the entire tent, but did not find them. And She said to her father, "Let my lord not be annoyed, for I cannot rise before you, for the way of woman is upon me." So he searched but did not find the teraphim. And Jacob was annoyed, and he quarreled with Laban, and he said to Laban, "What is my transgression? What is my sin that you have pursued me? For you have felt about all my things. What have you found of all the utensils of your house? Put it here in the presence of my kinsmen and your kinsmen. Let them decide between the two of us. Already 20 years have I been with you, and your ewes and she-goats have not aborted, neither have I eaten the rams of your flocks. I have not brought home to you anything torn by other animals. I would suffer its loss from my hand. You would demand it what was stolen by day and what was stolen at night. I was in the field by day when the heat consumed me, and the frost at night, and my sleep wandered from my eyes. This is 20 years that I have spent in your house. I served you 14 years for your 2 daughters and 6 years for your animals, and you changed my wages 10 times. Had not the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac been for me, you would now have sent me away empty-handed. God has seen my affliction and the toil of my hands, and he reproved you last night." Laban answered and said to Jacob, "The daughters are my daughters, and the sons are my sons, and the animals are my animals, and all that you see is mine. Now what would I do to these daughters of mine today, or to their children whom they have borne? So now come, let us form a covenant, you and I, and may he be a witness between me and you." So Jacob took a stone and set it up as a monument. Jacob said to his kinsmen, "Gather stones," and they took stones and made a pile, and they ate there by the pile, and Laban called it Yagar Sahadutha, but Jacob called it Gal-ed. And Laban said, "This pile is a witness between me and you today." Therefore he called it Gal-ed. And Mizpah, because he said, "May the Lord look between me and you, when we are hidden from each other. If you afflict my daughters, or if you take wives in addition to my daughters, when no one is with us, behold, God is a witness between me and you." Laban said to Jacob, "Behold this pile, and behold this monument, which I have cast between me and you. This pile is a witness, and this monument is a witness. I will not pass this pile to go to you, that you shall not pass this pile and this monument to come to me to do harm. And the God of Abraham, the God of Nahor, judge between us. The God of their father." And Jacob swore by the fear of his father Isaac. And Jacob slaughtered the slaughtering on the mountain, and he invited his friends to eat a meal, and they ate bread and lodged on the mountain.